Hey guys, how's it going? I saw this tag in my feed earlier this morning, so I decided I was going to do this tag. It is the superheroes tag, and so it's something that, since it's something I talk about on a pretty regular basis with heroes and things like that, I figured I'd go ahead and jump into this. So my first thing is that I tag anybody who sees it and would like to jump in on it to go ahead and jump in on the superhero tag. So you're invited. So don't feel like, oh, I have to be a booktuber. Oh, I have to be. No, just whoever sees this and says, I want to do it, jump on in. Link me back. Let me know. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start answering these questions. The first question is, who is the most underrated hero people should know more about? And I don't know that he's as underrated as he is just not as known well, and he's icon. He's a character that came through back in the early mid-90s. There was a group called Milestone Comics, and they came out with a series of characters from the Dakotaverse. And they were under the DC label, but they were under their own imprint in that label called Milestone. So all this stuff originally was self-contained. And so then there was a point where things happened, and then DC got the license to bring the Dakotaverse into the modern DC universe. And so you had a point where Icon faced Superman and some other things like that. Static Shock is part of that universe, so a lot of people are familiar with Static Shock, but not many people are familiar with the other heroes that may have been in that world. And Icon, I think, was different because his origin is he was an alien who landed in the middle of a slave field. And so when he was literally an alien, like he didn't look like us. And like Superman looked like he was a human, but he was from another planet. Whereas Icon came in and he looked like the little green dude kind of. But then when he landed, he assimilated to what form he was landed on, the planet he landed on. So when he landed in the middle of a slave field, he morphed himself into a little black baby and was kept and all these things. So he lived through a lot of experiences, and so it really shaped his worldview. But the thing about him was that he wasn't bitter, he wasn't angry, he just was trying to do what he could to help the world out. And so he was even at one point a lawyer that could defend clients on an intergalactic level. So I think that's really neat to have a hero who's a lawyer, who's not Daredevil, but he can serve in court anywhere in the world and not just on Earth. But anyway, so that's why I feel like he's one of the most underrated characters. This one's hard for me. The next one is, which hero do you feel like has an unreliable alter ego or an unlikable alter ego? And I've got to go with Superman. And the reason why I'm not a fan of Clark Kent really is mainly because for Superman to be such this powerful entity, I don't understand why he felt like the way to go was to be almost this weaker, kind of clumsy individual. You kind of always wonder, for example, I think Kill Bill talks about the question of, was Clark Kent Superman's assessment on humanity? And that's kind of his way of portraying humanity. And so that's the reason I'm not as big of a fan of it. And plus, for everything he does, for all the intelligence he has, he works a mediocre job for the most part. Even when they did the reboot, I believe he still was a reporter in the New 52 stuff. Anyway, so that's why I don't like it as much. I'm kind of like, I wish Clark Kent, a little bit more of Clark Kent was just Superman, but it seems like there's a big divide between the two. That's why I really don't like him. Which hero do you want to root against? And the answer for that was going to be Iron Man. But one of my favorite storylines for Iron Man was the Armor Wars storyline, where his stuff got stolen, and then he ended up having to fight against the people who stole it and to get his tech back. Because I feel like when you got a hero who could just build a new suit, you kind of don't feel like he really has a challenge. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why I kind of hope for things that push him to have to do something beyond just building a new suit to fix the problem. In that storyline, he has to really go back and find out who's taking his stuff. And he has to fight all the people who have it. So I think that's really cool. Who are the best heroes that don't need a sidekick? Batman. Now, Batman had several sidekicks, yes, but he technically doesn't need any of them. There's a family element in there that I kind of like, but at the same time, he doesn't really need them. He can do this on his own if he really wants to. And sometimes in the comic books, they've really explored that idea that he could potentially do it on his own. What's your favorite movie adaptation of a hero? I'm going to go with Blade. I got two for this one. I'm going to go with Blade, mainly because when you take a third-rate character in the comics and turn him into what they made to turn Wesley Snipes into in the movies, they made Blade cool, and I thought that was really interesting. But then the other one is the Tick. And I'm talking about I believe his name is Patrick Warburton version. And I like the new one that they did on Amazon as well, more so because he sounds a lot more like he's channeling Adam West, not just in his vocals, but also in his mannerisms as well. But I like the Tick because he doesn't take himself too seriously. And every now and then you need a hero who just doesn't take himself too seriously. I'm going to put the mask in there as well because for Jim Carrey to do the role he did with the mask and really capture the chaoticness of a character that you didn't know that anyone could capture. Of course, they did a sequel to it. It was horrible. Don't go watch the second one. If you're going to watch a mask movie, go watch the first one. Don't worry about the other one. Then, who are your superheroes in your real life? Now, I'm already uploading a video dealing with issues of cops and police brutality, but I'm going to say this. Cops, military, firemen, people who are real-life heroes that risk their lives every day for the sake of other people. That's who my heroes are. And, I realize sometimes, especially in the last 3 or 4 years, cops have gotten a bad rap, but I understand that not all cops are bad. Just like not all military people are bad. Whether you agree or disagree, these people are fighting for the rights that we have and should be. So that's my commentary on that. Anyway, the next question is, which civil rights hero impacted you the most? I've got to go with Dr. Martin Luther King. I mean, if you go back and look at the video backlog, I actually did a video on Dr. Martin Luther King's day concerning him, talked about him, and had a speech there, or part of a speech. And the reason why he impacted me so much is because he did everything he did without trying to make it a violent situation. Even though it was already hostile, even though it was already violent, he was trying to do everything he could not to take it there. So that's the reason I implore him compared to others. And I know he was influenced by Gandhi, and I understand all that, and also some Christian thought processes, but I still appreciate him being willing to go. And was he perfect? No. He wouldn't even tell you he's perfect. But I love what he stood for. What are some qualities that make a great superhero? Selflessness. Being willing to fight for people who can't fight for themselves, being able to stand for people who can't stand for themselves against the opposition that's bad. Being willing to take risk that other people may not be able to take. When a cop wakes up in the morning, they don't know if they're going to come home. When a soldier goes to war, he doesn't know if he's going to come home. When a fireman goes into a situation, he doesn't know if he's going to make it home to his family. But they willing to go into dangerous situations every day because the job requires it. And so they're willing to make that sacrifice. So I greatly appreciate people who have that kind of heart, however they go. You look at Jesus. Why did a lot of people say, well, Jesus could be a hero. Why is Jesus a hero? Because he was willing to come from where he was and be willing to sacrifice himself for the sake of all mankind. And so, that's heroic to me. And so, then the last question is, who do you take on your superhero? And this was a BookTube specific question. Who do you take on your super BookTuber team? I don't really know a whole lot of the BookTubers yet, so I can't answer that question. But if you want to be on the team, here's how you join. You join the superhero tags video. You do a superhero tags video. Link it back to me in the comments. I'd love to see it. Anyway, guys, take care as always. Love you. And above all else, be blessed to be a blessing to somebody, guys.